You're watching On Demand. Please check the closing time before trying to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Ruth Langsford, Katie Piper, Colleen Nolan, and Janet Street Porter.
Thank you very much. What a lovely welcome. What a lovely welcome. Welcome to our studio audience. Welcome to you at home. This is your first Loose Women of the Week. Lovely to have your company today. As always, sort of coming up for you, we're getting superstitious a bit later. Colleen reveals why she believes that she is cursed. Yes. Football fans better keep her away from the telly on Wednesday. That's all I can say. More on that later. Also, from going wild at a concert to choosing an arguing room in your house, we're revealing which one of us is a screamer and who is a self-confessed slammer. And it's the show that tells some incredible stories. Long-lost families. Nikki Campbell is our guest today, here ahead of a very special episode which is airing tonight. Starting today with the story that's been dominating the headlines after 6 asylum seekers attempting to enter the UK on Saturday died when their overloaded small boat capsized off the coast of France. They were part of 509 people who tried to make the crossing on Saturday alone. Following the tragedy, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak faces intense pressure to do more to tackle the crisis. But how on earth do you tackle it? This is the question that nobody seems to be able to answer, Colleen. And I know you were very upset when you read about the 6 people that died. And when you see those overloaded dinghies with people so desperate to get here that they will risk their lives to do so.
It's the thing, we can all sit here and go, this should happen and that should happen, they shouldn't be allowed over here or whatever. I just can't ever imagine anything in life where you would be that desperate, where you would even get on that boat with your family or your children, and that's how desperate you are, because the alternative's worse.
No life jackets?
No life jackets. You know, probably a lot of them can't even swim. You know, it's just heartbreaking. It's depressing. I woke up this morning, I saw it all on the news again, and I sat there and thought, I feel so... Well, I think we all do, in a way. We can sit here and talk about it all day, but we can't do anything. And I just wish for once the government would do something right, because at the moment they're embarrassing. And I know people will say, I know there are people out there who say, well, it's all very well you saying let the migrants in, let's do this, let's do that, but what about the people here who are on the poverty line? And it's just tragic all round. I'm not forgetting those people, because we have a lot of people here. You know, there's a survey done recently about how many children are on poverty lines and not being able to eat. And it's just tragic all round. And I don't know what the answer is, but our government at the moment aren't it.
No, it's very shambolic, Janet. It's so shambolic. And we keep hearing all the things that are going to happen that's going to stop this. And I think people are concerned that if they ever voice a concern about refugees, migrants, so whatever the word that people use, that you are considered to be kind of anti-immigration. Yeah. And I think most people aren't.
I think people are anti the money that's involved in not dealing with the problem. Yeah. So picking up on what Colleen said, I completely understand that people feel we're spending millions of pounds, £5 or £6 million every day on hotels. These people are not allowed to work while their decision is, while they're awaiting a decision on whether they can stay or not. So the backlog has gone up and up and up, and currently stands at way over 166,000 of applications at the end of last year. And Rishi Sunak said last year that by the end of 2023, he would have dealt with over 92,000 people who have been waiting since June last year. Well, that obviously has not happened.
But then when you see those, you hear those numbers and there are more coming.
Yeah. But
all the time. You think, is that problem ever going to be solved?
The quickest answer would be to allow them to work, to stop them destroying their ID papers, which a lot of them do, to encourage them, if they are going to come by such a perilous route, to bring their identification, to enter into the process as quickly as possible. We need to double the number of people dealing with the applications, but most importantly, we need to allow them to work, because at the moment they can't work while their asylum claim is being processed. And at the same time, we're giving out seasonal visas for people to come here, another lot of people to come into Britain on temporary basis to pick fruit and to work in the hospitality industry. So it's almost like the right hand and the left hand don't know what,
I know,
what
Katie,
they're doing.
that you even object to the word migrants, don't you? Some of the language is kind of dehumanising people.
I think it does dehumanise people. You see headlines where they say swarms of migrants. Actually, these are people, these are humans. They have children, families like you and I. And, you know, it wasn't that long ago that we were all scared in lockdown. And if we really had seen body bags on the streets that we lived in, we might have wanted to get on a boat, get on a plane and go to another European neighbouring country. And if we'd been rejected with our families and loved ones, how would we have felt? You know, I've had to apply to go and live in another country for medical treatment. And I remember filling out all the paperwork with a social worker and my mum and waiting 6 weeks to see if I fulfilled that criteria and could go. And if I did get rejected, I didn't have a plan B. You know, so seeing this and these headlines, I find it desperately sad. And, you know, I think you're both right, where the government don't have the answers and we certainly don't either. But let's not lose empathy and compassion
For human beings.
For human beings and humanity, yeah.
I don't think, yeah. I mean, people I speak to, they have huge compassion for people, but the fact is that you can't accept everybody. You know,
I tell you what, though, I've got
there's a point where you have to say, if it was your own home, and you say, well, I'm going to take refugees in, I've got 2 spare rooms, and then their family want to come and go, OK, we can maybe squeeze a couple more in, and you're also funding them. There comes a point, if there's another knock on the door and there's somebody else, you go, I'm so sorry, I literally have run out of room, I don't have enough money.
Depending where you read your news and your media, you can feel differently about how big a problem is this. If you listen to this, asylum seekers made up around 6% of the immigrants in the UK. That was from 2019. And Britain received the lowest amount of applications compared to Germany and France. So I think it's important to get a balanced view of this as well and not just read one source.
But we have always accepted immigration.
We're a country built on immigration. The people, you know, we've got a Prime Minister whose family were immigrants. We've got some of the most powerful people in this country, even our own royal family, can trace their lineage back to another country. I think you've got to accept the fact that the best things in Britain come from being such a mixed society. And at the moment, handing out to people who, saying to them, you can stay in a hotel every day of the week, you'll get a bit of food and we'll give you £47 a week to live on, that's just no solution. Let them work, give them their dignity.
The thing is, as well, I've had people saying, well, why do they want to come here? Why don't they stay in France? Why don't they stay where they are, type of thing? But my daughter and son, Kira and Jake, they went over before lockdown and worked as volunteers over at Calais. And they came back with some of the most horrific stories of how these people are living. It was called the jungle. And they weren't actually allowed to go in. They helped in the factories and places like that. That's it there. And they said, Mum, it was absolute. I cannot tell you the stuff that we saw. And all those tents and everything that people from here and around the world volunteer, all of a sudden the army or the police force go in and go, you've got 10 minutes to get out of that tent. And then they burn them all down and move them on.
10 minutes.
And so all these tents that people are giving over and they really work hard on them.
So
they're just taking them off them, and they're behind
trauma.
this giant fence like animals. It's just, you see babies, and my daughter said, Mum, it was so sad. And the people that are working over there, you know, as volunteers and that, are doing an amazing job because they have remembered that they are human beings.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe if more of us saw that side, like you said, Katie, we see headlines all the time, that we maybe have more sympathy
I just
for
can't
those
imagine
people getting, making that perilous journey in those tiny dinghies. I'm sure it won't be the last time we're talking about this. I mean, it is a story that just goes on and on. So let us know what you think, if you've got thoughts on that, those pictures that you saw over the weekend. We'd love to hear from you. On to something totally different now. How do you feel about potty-mouthed politicians? MPs have divided opinion in both Westminster and on social media for using the F word recently, one of them being Lee Anderson, who's the Conservative MP for Ashfield in Nottinghamshire. He stated that migrants who are unwilling to live on the Bibby Stockholm barge should beep off back to France, he said. His words. What do you think of that language?
Well, that's exactly what we've just been talking about. Like, that just shows no compassion at all. They don't have a home to go back to because they're fleeing war. But, you know, the question in general, you know, I think if you're swearing, especially at work in a professional setting, I think it sort of weakens your argument and it shows a low vocabulary. I think it sort of cheapens you, really. Like, you know, I'm nearly 40. I'm not allowed to swear in front of my mum and dad. So, you know, if I stub my toe, I have to say crumbs. Like, and I definitely wouldn't swear at work. And I think if I did swear at work, I'd probably lose my job.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I swear all the time,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
she doesn't
I
do
swear
such
all the time. I never swore in front of my mum and dad, that's true, and I've never sworn on television. In spite of extreme provocation, especially from this person on my right.
Sometimes, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've come really, really close, but I've managed to contain it. And I just think, oh, well, I agree with Katie. You're doing your job. We're on television. It doesn't look great to just resort to the F word, and it's not good.
It is hard, though.
I know, and I have worked with people
This
like
hour.
Gordon Ramsay who swears all the time.
This hour live on air is hard for me.
A whole hour?
Yes.
Yes.
Because Katie rightly points out that you should have better vocabulary where you don't have to swear. I haven't, Katie. Sometimes there's nothing better than getting your point across than having a good old, you know what.
I like a good swear, as you know.
She does.
And this
I like a
surprises
good
me
swear.
about you.
I'm quite a potty mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I didn't know you
it sounds different when she does it because she's very well spoken.
Yeah. It still rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
What,
I do like,
you mean
I
because
like
I'm
a good
so
swear,
clever?
but I
Yes.
don't think it's appropriate for MP or
No.
somebody in the public
No.
eye to be using that kind of
He's
language.
trying to be relatable, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's trying to be like, I'm one of you. This
Down
is how
with
I
the people.
Yeah. I just
Well,
don't-
he's down in the gutter, basically.
What about
Especially
if a
MPs.
school teacher swore?
At you or at the children?
Like if you went to parents' night, she went, I'm sorry, Con, he's an absolute pain in the...
I find it funny.
I would laugh all the way home.
Well, listen, we can have a little bit of swear now because we're having a break. No one will know. After that, we're going to be talking about arguing rooms. But can you guess which room of the house we argue in the most? And if an arguing room doesn't work and sorry seems to be your partner's hardest word, would you accept a sorry gift instead? Find out which one of us would need an expensive one to let go of their grudge. See you right after this. Welcome back to Loose Women. Now, still to come, how hard would you fight for your love? Would a sorry gift help you get over an argument with your partner? And it's one of the most emotional shows on TV. Nikki Campbell is joining us to talk about a very special episode of Long Lost Family, which airs tonight. Before we do any of that, brand new competition for you. How does a Disney cruise and £35,000 sound to you? Really good wooing, very good wooing. Kate Lawler has got all the details for you.
How do you fancy bagging yourself a once-in-a-lifetime family holiday and a jaw-dropping £35,000 in tax-free cash? Well, we've teamed up with Disney Cruise Line to bring you a stonking prize package worth over £40,000. Setting sail next August from Southampton, our 4-night prize includes a stay in a deluxe stateroom with your very own veranda and ocean view, all onboard meals, as well as onboard spending money for those added extras. You and your family could be whizzing through Disney's first-of-its-kind water coaster, the Aqueduct, or taking things a little slower in the relaxing, quiet Cove Pool. Take your pick of onboard dining options, from Vanellope Sweets and Treats to Animator's Palette and many more. we're giving you the chance to win a huge £35,000 in tax-free cash, which could land in your bank account in a matter of weeks. So if you fancy the chance at winning a Disney holiday like no other and £35,000, here's how you enter. Text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY33 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 1st of September at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Kate. Now, home is where the heart is, they say, but which room of the house are you most likely to have a row in? Kitchens, apparently. Kitchens see more arguments than any other part of the house. I could see that, because we all spend a lot of time in the kitchen, don't we?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time clearing up after the other person. That has caused the row.
All the resentment's coming through already.
Yeah, all right. So, category number one, the Marmite people. Right, they go to the jar, unscrew it, put the lid down, get the knife, put it across the buttery toast, and then just place the knife down, dribble in along the way, and then leave the lid. Like there's the Marmite fairy that puts that away. And it's the same person that gets the jar of mayonnaise, unscrews it, slathers it all over their cheese sandwich. A horrible combination, in my opinion. But then what they do in that case is they just leave the lid half on.
Oh, no.
So that when you pick up the jar of mayonnaise, it drops on the floor.
Unforgivable.
Unforgivable. I haven't even mentioned the dishwasher.
Yeah. But then why, with the Marmite fairy, why, you're not the fairy, are you? Because I would just leave it. I would leave the knife, I would leave it.
But I'm so tidy. I'm a really, really tidy person. And then what is it about the fact they only hoover the bit of the carpet where the dog's been? Not the whole bit, just the bit where the dog had to chew. And you just see all the
You're
dog
lucky
hairs.
they've hoovered that bit. Now, I get the kitchen. When you say leave it, because I've mentioned it before about Eamon will take the top off the yoghurt, and the wet side, you just put it down on the bottom. I know.
Oh, so what?
I was saying this morning, so somebody said, just leave it. And I have days where I go, I'm going to leave that. Just going to leave that.
Just be cool
3 hours
and
later,
blasé.
I'm scratching. Like, it's still there. I can't. And he knows I can't. He wouldn't even notice it because he's kind of just left it there. But it's funny, it depends what mood I'm in and where we are at in our relationship that week, that day. So sometimes I rage, and I go, who's left this? I'm not here to clean up after you. And then if I'm in a really happy mood, I go, oh, what's he like? Ashley, what's he like, that Amy?
Is that when people are there?
I'm never in that mood. I'm never in that mood. I'm always in the cross mood. Absolutely raging.
But
I
roll
think the
reverse and be the one that leaves it laying around everywhere and see how
The problem is, though, is that I've done that where I've left it laying around, and I'm not as bothered as either of you two, but I mean, when I've left it, but then they don't actually, because their argument always is to me, well, it don't bother me.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me, I didn't even notice. And I'm going, no, but it bothers me, so why wouldn't you do it?
I think second to the
But
kitchen.
as far as arguing goes,
Yeah.
I think the reason there's a lot of arguments is, like you said, there's a lot of kind of kitchen kind of family rooms now, like this open plan thing.
Yeah.
So you do spend the majority of the time there.
I don't think marriage is arguing. I think marriage is like being passive-aggressive and ignoring each other for 3 years. Just kind of like through gritted teeth and just...
I agree.
What about when you argue? Do you argue?
Me and Richie, no, I'm like absolutely seething and I say nothing and then I go to work and then, I'm just, give him the silent treatment. If we actually want to have a confrontation, we meet in the garage. So we've got like a... Because our kids are quite young, they're 9 and 5. So there's like a little side door on the edge of the house and you open that and then you go in the garage. So I'll be like... in the garage.
Oh, dear.
And then we go... and then we, it's not like a wrestling match, Oh, that would be nice. But we just kind of, communicate.
Are your kids terrified of going in the garage, by any chance?
No! They just think we're decluttering really loudly.
But don't you think after the kitchen, the second most argumentative place has got to be the car?
Oh, really?
So you're driving and the other person's doing the braking for you. Or they're seeing cars that you can't see even when those vehicles are giant lorries coming up on the inside. They go, oh! Like that.
I hate when you're driving and you've got a passenger who's a driver and you pull up at a junction and they go like that. You all right? all right. And I want to go, well, I can't see unless you sit back. Yeah.
That's how I feel in this seat at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. What if you've been arguing then? What about when someone wants to say sorry? OK, what about a sorry gift? You know, somebody brings you flowers or something, goes, oh, sorry about that. But apparently, it often has the opposite effect. The study has found that buying a gift for your angry other half often makes things worse, not better. I suppose it depends what they've done and what the gift is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was around, Eamon was like, sorry about this morning, saw these flowers I know you like. But you know when you read about those people that go, oh, he cheated and then he bought her a car, I go, oh,
Oh, no, I'd
gross.
rather get the bus. No, I don't want...
That kind of, you know, like, and I bought her a nice
Yeah.
new watch or some diamonds, I think.
Richie buys me like a packet of crisps if I've had a bad day. Like, so if he goes to the shop, he'll bring... I like salt and vinegar crisps, so he'll bring me back salt and vinegar crisps. And that's a nice
Now,
token.
that's love, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true love.
But that's not a sorry
It's not
gift.
sorry.
That's just being
No.
nice. Whereas I might get a bar of chocolate. I might get, oh, well, I was going around the supermarket buying the dog's food and I thought you'd like this chocolate. Like, notice where I am in the pecking order. After Badger the Border Terrier comes, perhaps placate Janet.
I think it's not... The thing is, if you get a gift, then it's kind of... I always think, oh, he knows he was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
He knows he was wrong, and that's his way of saying sorry.
But then
does
why
that
can't
feel
they just
good?
say, sorry, I was wrong about that?
Well, listen, I think it's really takes a lot of strength. And I think saying sorry is a really hard thing to do. And I think everyone should learn how to do it. I say sorry sometimes when
She's
I'm not.
looking at you, Janet, when she said,
Yeah.
you noticed?
She was looking at me, and I can do sorry. I can say it.
You can, actually. You have
Yeah,
said sorry.
I have said sorry.
Yeah, you have.
When
But that's the thing.
desperate.
But that's the thing, the gift needs to come with the communication.
Yeah.
You are sorry. I mean, I love a candle, and I believe you can't buy your own candles. They are gifts. So if someone's
What do you
horrible to
mean?
me... Well, if someone's horrible to me and gives me a candle, I really like that.
Why can't you buy your own candle?
I feel really depressed if I had to buy my own candle.
Oh, Katie.
Yeah, I've actually run out of candles at the moment.
Oh, well, if I get given
Well,
a
do you know what? I knew you'd run out. And
Oh,
I
my
knew you
goodness.
don't like buying yourself candles.
Oh, thank you so much.
Dead posh one as well.
I was waiting because it's my
Sorry, but
birthday in
I
October.
know.
I thought I'd have to
Don't
wait
tell her
till
it's already been
October.
there.
Oh, yeah, that is a posh candle. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you
Posh
go.
candle. We'll have that. I'm not sorry. I haven't done it.
I was going to say apology accepted.
It's kind of she's banking us sorry for the future.
OK, we've got to take a break now. After that, we're revealing why Colleen thinks she's cursed. And then, ahead of tonight's special episode of Long Lost Family, Nicky Campbell will be here to share his personal connection to some of the extraordinary stories. It's always good to see Nicky doing all that right after this. She recently joined us to reveal all about her wedding.
Is it going to carry on now with you and him? Like, I hope so. He's got married.
Now Olivia Atwood-Dack vows to tackle the topics of the day when she joins us as a guest panellist. This time, have we met our match? Olivia Atwood-Dack joins the Loose Women panel tomorrow at 12:30. Hello, welcome back to Monday's Loose Women, and keeping you company alongside me, Ruth Langsford, today. It is Colleen Nolan, Janet Street-Porter and Katie Piper. And still to come this afternoon, would you be annoyed if someone was shouting at a concert? Find out which one of us is a real screamer. And Colleen will be revealing why she thinks she's cursed when it comes to sporting events. What about you? Are you lucky? Do you have any rituals to bring you good fortune? Or like Colleen, do you think you're a curse if you're watching your favourite team?
Going on.
Do get in touch. We love to know what you think about anything we're talking about on the show today. To our guests now. Last month, Long Lost Family returned for its 13th season as presenters Nicky Campbell and Davina McCall continue to help desperate people search for missing family members. And tonight, a special episode follows the extraordinary stories of two men, both born to unmarried mothers in Ireland, as they seek to learn the truth behind their real identities.
When Arthur started looking for the truth of his identity years later, he was hoping that the orphanage would have records of his birth parents.
They gave me very, very little answers. I arrived in May 1952. I attended the local school, and I left that school in September 1953. I would have thought that they would have had a lot more information. It became very, very frustrating. I just felt that children weren't... Sorry. Just upset.
Well, every time we watch that show, we need tissues, and this looks like no exception. Welcome, Nikki Campbell, everybody.
I need them too.
Yeah.
I need the tissues too. We were watching it the other night, and Tina, my wife, started crying. Then I started crying.
Yeah.
Then the dog started crying. It's just, oh my! But it's so empowering, isn't it?
So
Life
emotional,
affirming.
so life affirming, poignant. I mean, everything, heartwarming.
Yeah.
You know, when they find their families, sometimes it doesn't always work out the way they want. I mean,
But it does work out the way they want because they've got answers.
yes, I suppose.
Kind of what happens
Closure.
next is well, it can go any way.
Yeah.
If you had questions about your life, all your life, and then those questions are answered, I think that's a massive step forward for anyone.
I mean, this is a special tonight at 9 o'clock, excuse me, ITV1 False Identity Special. So this is about Arthur and Bernard, two separate stories. Just give us the background, roughly.
Well, basically, I think it's an important programme tonight. It's incredibly powerful, but it's important because I think we've stumbled... Lots of people have been working on it, but I think as a programme in this country, we've stumbled on what is the tip of an iceberg, in that people's adoption certificates and fostering documents were destroyed because of, well, a number of factors. And they thought they were biological children, but they weren't. And then they find out later in life, which is, no matter how happy an adoption you've had, is a devastating thing. And I think it's... and also the stigma of being an unmarried mother as well, certainly in Ireland.
And they were from Ireland, so, yeah. And resonates, actually, with your own story, doesn't it? Your birth mother.
Well, to an extent, because my birth mother, Stella, was unmarried, and she was from Ireland, and she came over to Edinburgh to have her babies, two of us within 18 months, because, you know, she had to flee the scene of the crime. And so, so I was brought up in Edinburgh, born in Edinburgh. Thank you.
Did your adopted parents tell you that you were adopted? When did you find out that story?
Yeah, from the earliest age, because my mother was a psychiatric social worker. My mum, I mean, my adoptive mum and dad, they're my mum and dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was about love, and that was about, you know, looking after me, and they just are. They're both gone now. I think about them both every day. But she was a psychiatric social worker, so she was very much ahead of the time back in the 80s when I was born. And
You didn't get away with it.
No.
I thought I might sneak that one in.
I was just nodding. Me too. I was
Nikki, what I want to ask you about the two men whose stories you're telling tonight, at what point in their lives did they begin to realise that they weren't living with their birth mothers?
Well, I think one got the sense of it and another found out afterwards. And to find out, you can always get the sense of it a little bit. You know, why do I look different? Why do I think differently? Lots of little things. But I think that's why, to be able to help them, we've just had series 14 confirmed as well.
Wow.
We're doing another series.
I wondered, you know, we see these wonderful reunions on telly, and like you said, we're all crying, it's emotional. What about when people feel nothing and they feel detached and quite numb? Because, you know, having genetics and being blood relative doesn't automatically mean that you'll feel anything emotionally.
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I think long lost family is self-selecting because the people, it means a lot to both of them. Because people are looking and they've come to us, and the people they're looking for have said, we said, do you want to be on the television? We do a beautiful job here. And they said, yes. So it's self-selecting.
Yeah.
My own situation, I did feel a bit numb.
Right, OK.
Because I was there, and all of a sudden, I thought, I've got a mum and dad. But I found out, you know, and I got the answers.
So it's cathartic.
To the question.
Did you feel guilty for not having... You know, because I think we're led to believe, or you see in movies or you read in stories, there's an amazing moment and you come together and there are tears and hugs and you're like, oh, thank God I found you. Did you feel guilty that you didn't have that emotion?
A little bit, but I helped carry her coffin at her funeral, and we had a fulfilling relationship. It was good for her. It was Good for me. I'll never forget the first thing she said to me when she came in. It was quite special. Because of my love for what she was talking about, it really means a lot, because I think you can judge a person by their attitude to animals. I really do. And the first thing she said to me was, and I love her for this, was, hello, 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 hello. Do you like dogs?
It's a good common ground.
Yeah.
Because it's actually sussing out what you like.
Yeah.
You know.
love dogs.
Do you think
I love dogs.
Do you think men find the process harder than women? Of opening up and admitting I was adopted or I want to find my parents. Do you think men find the whole procedure harder than women?
I think to an extent they do, and sometimes it's harder for men to show their feelings, but I think it can mean so much, and it's so powerful when you see those feelings, and it's so liberating, I think, for the men as well, when they let those feelings flow. I do. I'm a terrible crier. I cry all the time at things. You know, the overture of The Sound of Music, I'm gone, you know?
What about some of our topics we were discussing? So we must ask Nikki that. We're talking about arguing. You know, do you argue? Do you have a special house, a room in the house where you argue? Mostly it's...
We do, actually. We do have a special room. The kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, the library. I don't have a library, but if we did, you know?
Do you think you're right, though?
No, it's not me. I'm just observing it.
You mean they all argue and you don't?
Well, I've got 4 daughters. I've got 4 loose women, and there's 5 because that's my wife as well. The 5 of them, and I tell you what, it's like a roller coaster.
A lot of hormones.
But they'd look out for each other. I tell you what, and they've got my daughters have got this WhatsApp group with each other, and it's called Sisters by Birth, Friends by Choice.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's very nice.
Yeah, nice.
But you know that, don't you?
I do know that, yeah, not here.
Well, I think on that note, Colleen Nolan.
No, it was a joke before it's publicised.
Yeah.
I know, these days. Oh.
Long Lost Family False Identities special. That is tonight at 9 o'clock on ITV1. Always lovely to see you.
Thank
Come
you.
back anytime.
Thank you.
Looking forward to that. And good luck with Series 14. Amazing.
Thank you.
Nikki Campbell, everybody. Still to come, are you a screamer? We're going to be talking about concert etiquette, but just how far is too far when it comes to fangirling. And you've heard of a lucky charm, but Colleen thinks it's an unlucky charm. She might even be to blame if England don't win the World Cup. Find out why it's that serious after this. See you in a couple of minutes. You heard the music there. We are talking superstitions in just a moment. Find out why we're banning Colleen from watching the big football game on Wednesday because we want them to win, basically. First, before we talk about that, competition time again. How does £35,000 and a Disney cruise sound to you? Sounds good. Lady at the end, not interested. Kate Lawler's got all the details for you.
Ever dreamed of setting sail on a Disney cruise and treating the whole family to a once-in-a-lifetime experience? Well, now you can with our brand new competition. We're giving you the chance to win a Disney cruise for a family of 5 so you can experience the magic for yourself, plus £35,000. Our prize includes 4 nights in a deluxe stateroom with your very own veranda and sea view, as well as all onboard dining and $2,500 to spend on those extra luxuries. Included are onboard activities and entertainment, from the Beauty and the Beast theatre show to Disney's Oceaneers Club, where youngsters can even climb into Han Solo's cockpit in Star Wars Millennium Falcon. And if that isn't enough, we're also throwing in a whopping £35,000 in tax-free cash to spend on whatever you like. So what are you waiting for? You could be heading out of Southampton next August on your very own Disney cruise. Here's how you enter. Text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY33 PO Box 744 158 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 1st of September at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Kate. Now, they were the biggest band in the world, but there's one person who was not a fan of Beatlemania, George Harrison's mum. So in a letter from Louise Harrison, which has just gone up for auction, she said that she was disgusted at how fans screamed through one of the band's gigs. She wrote, "Nobody with any sense would pay and queue for a ticket just to stand on a seat and scream and not hear one sound from the stage." I mean, look at them. I'm not a screamer, I have to say. Even like when I've been the biggest fan of something, maybe I'm a bit buttoned up and British.
Well, I think I'm like that because I actually saw the Beatles. The first time I saw them play live was in South London at the very start of their career. And the noise was phenomenal, but it wasn't so much screaming women then. The band, they were just like more raucous rock and roll, and it was that kind of atmosphere. And then the second time I saw them was in the street in Jersey, and I was a modern, I had this long tight skirt and I was mincing along with my friend.
Love this.
And then along in an open top car comes the Beatles. Well, we couldn't scream, we were just struck dumb. And then I tried to run, but my skirt was too tight. And then years and years later, I said to Paul McCartney, big name drop then, I said, I did see you in Jersey and I wanted to scream. And he went, well, you know, it's two weird women.
He remembered it.
He remembered. I don't know if he was being nice, but it was so touching.
He is nice, Paul. Every time he phones me, I'm like...
But you must have had fans screaming for you.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, actually, in Japan. I hate to keep bringing it up, but huge in Japan. No, we did, and it's fantastic, you know, for people that go... Yes, yes.
Give her a scream, come on.
Yeah. More. But no, it is, and as an artist, it's fantastic because it gives such an atmosphere. You get such an adrenaline rush when you hear them screaming. But then when you're a harmony group and you've spent, you know, weeks or months learning these 5-part harmonies and routine, and they're just screaming, you do stand there sometimes and think, oh, we could be singing Three Blind Mice, and I don't. But yeah, now I'm a screamer, Ruth.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, Colleen.
See, I'm really laughing in my head because when
what do you do?
Well,
you scream
I scream at Instagram videos. If I'm lying in bed at night, like me and Richie run our phones, if I just see a video of Usher taking his top off on the stage on my phone, I'm like, oh! Richie's like, what are you watching? I'm like, nothing. Just go back to
Richard's at garage now.
I mean, when punk came along, you didn't dare scream. You were spending your whole time. I used to go to loads of punk gigs with The Clash, Johnny Rotten and so on, the Sex Pistols and so on. Then you were more worried about getting spat on.
oh no, I'm not up for that.
Screaming got replaced by spitting.
I've just never had that reaction, though. How
What, being spit on? I have. Top of the Pops, we got spat on by another group. Yeah, one of those punk groups.
You got spat on?
Where are they now? That's what I say.
On top of the Pops,
yeah, on top of the Pops on the way down the corridor.
That's disgusting.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's another type of screaming. I don't like screeching.
Right.
That's for the tour.
Daytime show, Katie, daytime show.
I don't like squealing and screeching. So, you know, and I have to say, it's us women, when you see, like, sort of drunk women at a brunch and they're like turkeys, like... you know, I don't like that. You know what I mean, don't you? Like, turkeys. Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm going to do that noise again.
OK, let's talk about football, OK? So, to the delight of players and fans back home, it was victory for the Lionesses on Saturday. They took a step closer.
Yeah.
To World Cup glory. Yeah, that hard-fought win against Colombia. Now, that 2-1 victory means that our ladies will play Australia, that's the home nation, in the semi-final on Wednesday. Yeah, very exciting. But one person who couldn't bring herself to watch the end of that game was Colleen Nolan here. Because you like football.
I'm obsessed with football.
Yes.
And I'm obsessed with the Lionesses.
Yes, but...
I feel we can do it.
However...
But...
You're worried.
I'm really worried, because every time I watch a football match, whatever team I want to win doesn't win. And every time I've not watched, the team I want to win.
Oh.
So on Saturday, they went, come on, it's on, it's on, it's on. They went 1-0 down. I went, I'm not watching. It's me. I'm not watching. And I went in the kitchen.
Getting a complex.
And they equalised.
There, see.
And then I ran back in, and then at the last, and then it was 2-1, and then there was 8 minutes in extra time. And after it got to 4 minutes, and they only had 4 minutes left, and the Colombia were like all over them at one point. And I honestly, I went, I guarantee if I go in the kitchen, we'll be fine. I went in the kitchen, and I said, I can't watch the semi-final because they'll lose.
Are you superstitious then? Do you really believe in
Not
this?
superstitious at all.
Right.
I've just decided, when my son used to play football, you know, all through those years and years of taking your kids to football, he's a brilliant player and everyone would talk about it. I'd have been away on tour, he scored, 6 goals in 5 minutes. And every time I watched him, he'd lose. So actually, he said to me, can you stop coming to football? So I've got this thing about football, that if I'm there...
But then maybe, see, that's why I got you this.
Yeah.
I thought, like, reverse psychology.
Oh,
that
very
maybe
clever.
if you
I'm
wear an
gonna support
Australia
Australia.
shirt...
Then we'll win.
You support Australia, they'll lose.
I don't know who you think that's going to fit.
Look, it was very short notice. I didn't.
That will literally go over one.
I'll keep the label on and take it back after the
We've got the
show.
labels. Just
Yeah.
I appreciate that you didn't get the one that would fit, because that would be embarrassing.
What about you,
course it
Katie? Do you feel lucky about anything?
Well,
or bad luck?
No, I don't necessarily believe in luck, but I do play strange games in my head of like a bit of superstition where I'm like, if I get through that automatic door before it shuts, it's going to be a good day, and if I don't, something bad's going to happen.
Sliding doors.
Yeah, well, it's not just doors; it's with anything. You know, like maybe I'm like racing you towards the exit, and I'm like, if Colleen gets out that door before me,
Which will never
be a
happen.
bad day.
Don't worry about
Not
that.
if we're racing. No.
Of course, in previous World Cups, they've used animals to predict the result.
Yes.
So Paul the octopus, the psychic octopus. Who can forget Paul? He predicted most of the correct answers in the 2010 Men's Cup, including the final.
Oh, that reminds me, actually, I am lucky because I keep winning the lottery.
Do you?
Yeah, all the time. So I get the email that says, you've won in the lottery, and I'm like, oh my God, scrambling to the app. And I just keep winning like £1 or another line. And
I get to hook you in.
I know, I'm trapped. So I think I put like £10 in my app, and then I just keep winning another £1 back, and it keeps topping it up. And I've been there for 3 years.
Working
this
then,
£10 bit. Yeah.
Their plan's working, because I've had those. As soon as I got that app and then I saw this email, and I was like, oh, this is it. It's like,
The
you've had a
email
win on the
comes about
lottery.
1:30 in the morning as
£2.
well, and it goes news about your lottery ticket.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because I've already spent it in my head.
You start
it was
planning it.
£3.50 on Saturday.
I know.
Sorry, guys, I can't treat you all to a whole
Anyway,
Right, you better lock yourself up.
Unluckily, we have to go now. Yeah, I know. Listen, I don't make the rules. I stay here all day, but no, that is it for today. Tomorrow, though, we've got Olivia Atwood-Dack joining us as a guest panellist, and comedian Joe Pasquale talking about that shocking near-death experience he had. Until then, have a lovely afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.